Well, students, we're going to glaze your coil pots today. I want to show you what these colors will be because many of them will change. They don't look quite like what they'll be after they go through the kiln. So the first one, this one looks like gray. It's not. It really is this greenish color. You can see that it does a nice job. Still showing the textures and the designs. And this one looks like a light pink. It's really blue. It will be like this. And this one looks the most like what it is. It's maroon, which is really, maroon is kind of like a reddish purple color. And then there's this one that looks pink. It's not, it's clear, it just makes the pot look shiny. So like this is part that's not glazed, but then this part is glazed, so it just makes it look shiny. And since I don't have a pot example that's like that, I'm gonna glaze mine clear. So your table will just have one glaze color at it, so we don't put our brush in the wrong one, so I'll move those out of the way. And I'm going to take my pot and I'm gonna put my fingers on the inside, and I'm gonna first take this brush and I'm gonna glaze around the bottom because you don't want any glaze on the bottom of the pot. So I'm gonna go around the bottom. So I just brush it a little bit, then I'm gonna dip my brush back in. Brush it a little bit, then dip my brush back in. The clay is like a sponge and it soaks up the glaze. So this first coat of glaze is gonna be drying really fast. And then once I go around the bottom so I don't get any on there, I'm going to brush it, and if it won't go into some of my designs, I just take a little extra and just drip it right in there. The glaze will melt right into the designs and the textures. So it's okay if they get filled or covered with glaze because you'll still be able to see them once they melt into the designs and textures. You don't want any of the orangish clay still showing. If you still have spots where the clay is showing, you should drip the glaze into those spots. Otherwise it won't look very nice if there's the orange clay still showing through the glaze. So that's why I'm just dripping it in, getting it to go into all my textures and my designs. And I just continue to turn the pot as I go. Part of doing a good job glazing is being patient. So I'm gonna need to let this dry before I put it on the next time. So I'm holding it in my hand, my fingers are just on the inside, and then I'm gonna set it down and I am gonna glaze the top. I don't want to pick it up while it's wet because it could do two things: get glaze on your hand, and it could wipe the glaze off of the outside. So I'm just gonna let it dry. Once it's dry, I'll pick up another one and show you. I'm gonna hold it on the outside and I'm gonna glaze it on the inside of the pot too. So I really should let this dry more. I'm gonna glaze it anyway because I want you guys to have enough work time. So I'm gonna pick it up. It still has spots that are wet, but I'm gonna show you that if I lean it like this, it's way easier for the glaze to kind of drip right into the coils, and it's way easier for the glaze to go in. Because sometimes I'll have students go like this and try to go around and around and around, but it won't go in to those designs and textures. So if you kind of put it on its side and then glaze it, it is much more likely to go right into all those designs and in between your coils. One of the reasons that you want to do that too is so that you can use your pot. If it's fully glazed, you will be able to really use it or wash it with water and soap. If you don't glaze it all, then it really wouldn't be functional. It might, if you were to put something in it, it might have a hole in it and leak or something. So, and it wouldn't protect, the glaze really protects the clay. So now that I kind of leaned it on its side and kind of turned it like this, it made it much more easy to get it into all those spots. And then I would glaze it right down to the bottom. And sometimes I'll just kind of brush the glaze up just a little bit to make sure that I have it all on here really nice and smoothly. So this is one coat of glaze. The goal is to get the glaze on your pot 3 times. If you are letting it dry, just set it down, but hold on to your brush, please. Please don't put your brush on the cup and let go of it because it could spill the cup. So hold on to your brush at all times. If you need to, you can always switch hands and hold it with the other hand if your one hand is getting tired. Once it is dry, then you should flip it over and you'll just repeat all these steps again. So I would go around the bottom, turning it a little bit, and I would get my second coat on the outside. You will notice that it's gonna take longer for it to dry when you put it on a second time. You noticed too when I did it, I put my fingers on the inside when I was doing it. Well, right now the inside of this pot, the glaze is wet. So I can't put my fingers on the inside yet. I need to let it dry. I might pick it up and kind of go around the parts that's dry up here before I put my fingers on the inside. So I'm gonna let mine dry a little bit more before I continue to put my glaze on. But glaze the outside, don't get it on the bottom. Glaze the top, glaze the inside, let it dry, then do it twice. Pick it up, go around the bottom, do the outside, let it dry, and then do the inside, and then do it a 3rd time. At the end, hopefully you won't have to go to the sink. You shouldn't have a lot of glaze on your fingers. We'll wipe off our hands if there is any glaze on the bottom. Mine does not, but if there was a little bit at the end, we could just wipe it off. And I would like you to be able to bring me your brush and your pot when we're done. So keep your brush in your hand at all times so we don't put it on the cup and spill the cup. So let's have fun glazing.